Welcome back to another episode of The Gridiron Guy, and today we are going to be breaking down what to make of the Leonard Fournette situation. And if you've already drafted and you have him on your team, it's very unfortunate because no one foresaw this coming. There was a bunch of trade rumors come April and May in free agency, and now he just got cut out of nowhere. But if you have him, do not worry because there is still hope. He is a talented back last year, finishing as the RB7, which is far higher than I remember him finishing. He had a tremendous year last year, catching 80 passes. He's 25 years old, ran for 4.4 yards per carry on a bad offensive line, and he's only 25. He just needs the right scenario to thrive, and the first thing I want to do is we're breaking down what teams I think he may be going to, and if they're good or bad. So on the list of the teams that I don't want him going to if I'm an owner already are the Philadelphia Eagles, the New England Patriots, Miami Dolphins, and Pittsburgh Steelers. All of those teams have way too many backs for Fournette to see enough volume to be decent. If he splits with Miles Sanders, he's not going to be that good because he won't be catching passes with Boston Scott and Miles Sanders. He'll only be getting first and second down work on a 50% basis. New England has far too many backs as a team, and I don't expect him to be a bell cow. Belichick has never been a guy to be a bell cow back. Damian Harris, Lamar Miller, Sony Michel, James White. Too many backs there. Miami is intriguing, but I still don't like it because their offensive line is so bad. They're going to be behind in a lot of games. And Jordan Howard plays the same exact role. Matt Breida is a better pass catcher. I just don't see much of a role there. And then there's Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh might be a good fit if it's not for James Conner. But Conner could go down, and Fournette could play well on Pittsburgh with a great offensive line. But for the time being, I think it's not you don't want Fournette going to the Steelers. The teams where you want him are the Chargers, Rams, Bucks, Redskins, Bears, and Lions. My favorite scenario for him would be the Rams, Bears, and Lions, and the Redskins. Because first of the Rams, my favorite spot for Fournette is McVay is looking to give a guy like Gurley last year, who wasn't that great, all of the work. And I think Fournette could replicate his 2019 success in the LA system. Chicago, without Montgomery for the time being, may look for a replacement if his injury is worse than they're giving out, and he'd be a volume monster there and do very well. Detroit is an intriguing option because they have Kerryon and DeAndre Swift, but I'm not a fan of either currently. At their current ADP and their current talent level, Kerryon's always injured and Swift is a rookie. I think adding Fournette to that mix would make them an immediate contender in the NFC North. Lastly, the Redskins are a sneaky play because they have no running back that is proven. They are rebuilding, but Fournette is 25 years old. It would be a nice compliment to Antonio Gibson and Bryce Love, another good fit. The Chargers, Fournette can play with Austin Eckler, fill in the Melvin Gordon role last year, would be a solid RB2. And then there's Tampa, which I don't think will happen because they need to have some salary cap throughout the season. But it's an intriguing fit because they've been all over veterans throughout the offseason. But there are certainly some good spots where Fournette can go. If you own him, there is still hope. However, we will not know, I think, for a few weeks where he goes. He may not even sign before week 1 because teams are trying to implement their game plan, and they're going to see what they have before going out to acquire a veteran who has had some, locker room issues in years past. But I would say don't sell low. I wouldn't sell for a guy like Tevin Coleman or Kerryon Johnson or DeAndre Swift. You got to keep Fournette because he can finish the year as an RB2 still. He has the talent, and you don't want to sell low. So hold on to him for the time being. But if you get an offer for a player you can't turn down, like a Mark Ingram or a Devin Singletary, take that. But don't be trading him for a bench player because he offers too much upside, and you put too much of an investment to do that. But now, if you're drafting now, buy low. I did a draft yesterday, and I was shocked to see him ranked at 150 in ESPN. I was able to get him as my third bench player behind Tevin Coleman and Jamison Crowder as my RB4 behind Coleman, David Johnson, and Saquon Barkley. That is great upside. As a bench player, that's what I'm looking for, is league-winning potential. Nobody wants him because there's no team. You don't want to waste your pick. But if you're confident in your running backs and you have depth, Fournette is a great late-round flyer because, as I said, he can be a high-end RB2 on a team like Chicago, Washington, the Rams, the Lions, there's good fits, and he will sign somewhere. He's too good not to. And if it's the right team, you're getting a third or fourth round value in the 10th round, and you can't pass that opportunity up. I mean, even for the Bears for a few weeks, you're getting RB2 potential for 5 or 6 games in the beginning of the year from a bench player. You take that any day of the week. And I think his RB1 days are finished, though. Catching 80 passes in Jacksonville, getting the ball 200 times in the ground will just not happen again. No one will give Fournette passing work like they did on the Jaguars. I'm shocked he caught 80 passes last year. He's an average receiver at best. It's all about opportunity, and I think the Rams and the Lions will give him a good workload scoring option to have a RB2 season and be a great value where he's currently being drafted. However, his floor is very low if you're drafting him right now. If he goes to a team like New England, I don't even think I would start him a single week, because there are too many backs, and he wouldn't even see 10 to 15 touches a game. I mean, he'd be an average flex play on a team like Pittsburgh, splitting with Connor, being like a Coleman Mostert type split. But you look at those guys, they're both probably flex plays at best, bench players of every other week. This is why I wouldn't draft him in the top 8 to 9 rounds, because he can go somewhere still and be irrelevant. But you can't ignore the league-winning upside. And that's why you have to take a chance on him in case he goes to the Rams or the Redskins and gets 250 carries and turns out to run for 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns. But now, which I think a lot of people are choosing to neglect, is what's going to happen in Jacksonville. And how does that affect players like Chris Thompson and Raquel Armstead? I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong, because there's a lot of touches being vacated in that offense, around 300, and I think there is some value to be found in this Jacksonville offense before these ADPs properly adjust. First thing I would do is, if you're watching this right now, if Chris Thompson is on the waiver wire in any of your leagues, in half-point PPR or PPR, go and pick him up right now. I added him to all my rosters, and I think he is a great add. He is severely undervalued. And I know he's an injury-prone player, playing to 10 to 11 games each season, but when he's playing, he is very good. He has showed us in Washington in 2017, 2018, 2016 days that he can be a very good PPR player and put up high numbers of points when he's on the field. I mean, Fournette caught 80 passes last year. I think Thompson, who is a far better receiving back, can catch more than 80. Jacksonville is going to be consistently down throughout the season, and Thompson will be playing in far more game scenarios for his receiving capabilities than Raquel Armstead. I think in PPR, Thompson is top 24 potential. I think he's a very consistent flex play, probably getting you anywhere from 6 to 15 a week, and I would guarantee that. He's easily will finish as top 36 RB if he plays a full 16 games, and he's 100% worth being rostered in every single league. So if he's on your waiver wire right now, go drop him for your last pick. Even if you think it's a rookie with upside, go get Chris Thompson. However, it is Chris Thompson, and he is injury prone, but for the time being, when he's on the field, he is going to get a ton of work. Raquel Armstead is a second year, I believe 6th, 7th, or maybe even undrafted pick in 2018. They're not just going to throw a rookie, essentially rookie, into the fire with a young quarterback on an offense that's trying to move the ball and down a lot. Chris Thompson will play a ton. It's probably going to be a 70-30 field split if I were to guess. Maybe 60-40. I mean, Raquel Armstead, though, I did watch his college tape. I think he played at Temple, and he can play. I liked what I saw. He is a well-rounded back, a bigger back, around 220, but he moves well, much better than Fournette did, but not enough power to really run through defenders. And if I'm drafting currently, I would consider drafting Raquel as a late round flyer, but Thompson is the guy to have in this backfield. The Jacksonville offense is not good enough to carry a running only back. We saw last year, Fournette only found the end zone three times, I believe, and he caught 80 passes as well as having 200 yards. So Raquel will not be able to rely on a touchdown-dependent season. I think Chris Thompson, with his pass-catching ability and upside for almost 100 receptions, 100 receptions, will allow him to be a great value in any bench spot. I think he's going to be on par with like a Tevin Coleman type season, and I really, really like Chris Thompson for the upcoming season. And now, before I end the video, I want to put a timeline for what I expect from this whole Leonard Fournette thing. I expect him to be unsigned for the next week or so, and if a player goes down to injury, I think a team will jump on signing him right away. But it's very possible that he is not picked up for a few weeks until the season, until a high profile player ends up going down. And I'm just going to give an example of this. I'm not saying Dalvin Cook's going to get injured, but a guy like Dalvin Cook, who seems to get injured early season, 2 out of the 3 years of his career, so significant injuries, a team like the Vikings, a contender, would probably pay a hefty sum of money to bring in Fournette to complement Madison in their run game. Or a team like, I don't know, say Pittsburgh. If Connor goes down, I could see them 100% going to get Fournette because they're trying to win now and they need all the help they can get to boost a okay offense. He will get signed, just have patience because it may not be immediately, but it's worth holding on to and still worth drafting. And as for Chris Thompson, make sure to acquire him late in drafts, and if he's on your waiver wire, go out and get him right now because he's a talented receiving back who will be able to do a lot in a decent offense that will always be trailing. So make sure to go pick up Chris Thompson. And that concludes the video. As always, make sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment down below onto what team you think Leonard Fournette will be before week 1 or whenever you think he'll get signed. And as always, make sure to check out our Instagram, gridiron_guys_YT, for daily fantasy content.